So hello everyone. Is it right? The screen is okay?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, thank you. So hello everyone. My name is Victor. As you can see, I'm 66 years old, and I will explain you how what is the pathway I did to heal amblyopia, and just so that you understand the way I was seeing 2 years ago. That's the slides I did. Of course, it's not in my brain, but it's the way I think I perceived the reality. So you have my left eye, which is almost perfect when I have glasses, and the other eye, which is let's say in American standards, it's 2100 or 2070. So it's really a bad eyesight. And you have to understand that amblyopia um, uh, is understood from the timing, let's say around the 60s, where two Nobel Prize, Abel and Wiesel, found out and made a lot of experiments on cats and on monkeys also. And for the experiments, they closed the eyes of cats, and they saw how the connection was done from the retina to the cortex. And that was really an amazing discovery. But let's say they kind of stopped their research because they couldn't um, go back into for the cats into seeing. So they they uh, they said at that time that the cats couldn't have eyesight again after a critical period. And this critical period was applied to kids. So you can see on the right the way kids at that time and still now are patched. And to the way to heal amblyopia is to have something on your eye. So I had that, but after 2 or 3 weeks, I stopped. Like, let's say, a lot of kids, because it's really difficult to live with that. And so when my parents brought me to the doctors, they asked, okay, what kind of profession could he do? And they said, okay, everything, but everything which doesn't need precision. And so architecture was one of the profession I couldn't do. And of course, I did it. And so this is the place when I was 19 years old, where I really understood I wanted to do architecture. And uh, try to remember this image because you will understand why this image was important to me and why in the perception of space, this image was important to me. Um, so imagine that when you're an amblyopic kid, you have no possibility to recuperate your eyesight. But 25 years ago, I went to a specialist in laser surgery. He had a new possibility for that. And he said to me, no way, you're amblyopic. You had no possibility to recover your vision after 8 years old, so I don't see why to do it. And I said, do it, please. I want to try. There is no risk for me because I don't see. So I prefer to try laser surgery. And what was amazing is that 2 days after the surgery, I had perfect vision. And so I had regular control for the 15 days. And after 15 days, my eyesight was really bad. So the surgeon didn't understand really. I saw it in his eyes and in the way he made the exams. And he asked me to do it another one, and I said no. So I stayed with that. And this is the last time I went to an ophthalmologist. I went there because we were doing a huge travel by bike near China. So it was very dangerous to have problem like retina or problem to the retina, for example. You have no way to be saved on that matter because hospitals were too far. We camp, we are on autonomy, so it was really dangerous. And as soon as I have one eye, imagine that if you are in that place, how can my wife come back with a bike and all the stuff? So I was a little bit afraid on that. So when when I enter back at home, I ask myself, okay, i- if I saw, maybe there are questions that I could ask myself and see if there are research that I could do. Andre, my wife, is a researcher, so it was easy for me, or easier, to, let's say, to understand the way to research in science. So I'm not a scientific by profession, but as soon as I had a problem to understand or to interpret a research, I ask her. She's really an amazing researcher. So first of all, I had one word which came out in my mind was neuroplasticity, because neuroplasticity persists at any age. So why could I not regain vision? Also, the question of uh, passing from the experiments of cats to be applied to human. Cats do not see the same way. Of course, I know that there is a lot of research done that way, but I don't know. I felt that there was something that I could search on. And the last question I asked at the beginning of the journey was, what is the origin of my lazy eye? When that happened? And okay, that was the three main questions I had. So when we were in Vietnam, in the place you saw before going there, of course. So in Saigon, I went to the place where there were all the glasses maker, and there was one shop, very small, antique in a way, and so I entered and I made some tests with the, let's say, the ancient way to do it. So with the glasses that you see there, and also the prism and the glass that you put there. And I saw that my correction um, was 4D. If you want to see that before, to understand how much I was corrected, I was 6D and 8D. So I under corrected the lens. Uh, I avoid astigmatism. And why did I do that? It was important for me because I thought that if you don't have the same image or the same size of image, uh, something is wrong. And of course, you all do stereoscopy, so you know that it's wrong. But for an amblyopic, for all his life, um, and what the doctors say about it, or maybe don't take into account this question, it was a huge thing to do. So I did it, and it worked out. So I went on the mountains, and I'm still here. Um, After that, I met a functional optometrist, Nathalie Wetiens, and I went 4 times to her, and mainly to maybe see her office and all the thing that she was using. And also I knew that she used different methods. The base methods was one of them. So I was attracted to that, and we had a very good relation. And the last time I saw her, she said to me, "I know my eyes." And it was so strange for me I know my eyes, it doesn't make sense. It did make sense. And also for people who have huge myopia, uh, you have to understand that the eyes and the fact that your glasses are a little bit dirty, that you don't really look in precision, you don't know really your eyes. You live with your eyes, but you don't know them. I also had a friend in my university who is a great scientist. He's a neuroscientist working on consciousness. And I described him what I wanted to do, and he saw an exhibition that I will show you after. And he said to me, "What you describe is possible." And those two phrases, I brought them with me when I went to hold a journey that I will continue to show. So one of the decisions I made after having a different pair of glasses, as I told you about, was to try to see what I was seeing without glasses and to record it by photography. So I made that for several months, and we decided with a friend of mine, Fabien de Cugnac, which is a very good visual artist, we decided to work on perception, and that's the reason of the name of the exhibition. And one text which was introducing the exhibition is a text that you are in front of you. So I'll leave you read for I'll let you read for 5 seconds, and I'll tell you about it. Okay, this is exactly what I did. So it was it was a strange way to do it. It's like if I was changing position every time of the day. So I was experimenting or making some glasses or devices. Then I was researching on science article. One thing which was very important was the history of science, because I thought that to understand the disease, or if you don't have a solution, maybe you should go back and see how this disease evolutes. And also the name. It was very important for me to understand the different names which were given to amblyopia. And of course, New Age book. Why? Because some people say that they cure eyesight. So I didn't know. I said, okay, maybe I could read books and have something about it. And Michel Polnareff, if you don't know him, is a French singer with white glasses, and I could say also some other artists who are using glasses about that. So let me show you several of the images. So to understand these images, you have to imagine that I took off my glasses for a long period of the day, and I try to look at any distance that I can do and to rediscover material, to rediscover reality in a way. So the one on the left and the one on the right is easy to understand. The one in the middle is a kaleidoscope glasses. So I tried a lot of things. There is 50 images in the exhibition. I won't show them all, but um, for example, André had a mask, a kind of mask as glasses, and this image means a lot to me because in a way, when you have glasses and you wear glasses for all your life, you're used to it, and in a way, you use that as a decor, as a way to become someone else, or maybe someone you want to be. So it's like like a clothes. And the two with the other image, I won't comment. I think they speak by themselves. In the exhibition, I showed two portraits, one on the left, one on the right of my face, and there was a group of students who came, and one of the girls came to me and she said, "Oh, it's very interesting because you have two different faces." Of course, I knew that two different expression on the face, but she pointed out to me that first of all there was a lot of difference. And also that there was a psychologist, which is called Paul Ekman, who studied the expression, the micro expression, and the expression on a lot of people. And he understood, and his research was very well documented on that there was only a few expression or emotions that are the same in all the population. And I understood some of it. So she said to me, for me, there is sadness and fear. And it was enough for me to understand that the two parts of my face were different. And of course, the one with the amblyopic eyes is on the left on the image. So after the exhibition, I asked myself, how would I conduct my research? Because I didn't want to stop myself into looking at recent research, which was a way to do it, because you can imagine that in the way research had done, the new research will be better than the other one. Let's put it that way. But I said, okay, I will go for recent research. I will go for current medical knowledge, which is completely okay too. Historic scientific perspective, of course, and author testimony. I think testimony can be as important as, let's say, huge trial in the way that science is done now. So I believe in testimony in people. Maybe someone have experienced something that science couldn't see, in fact, or because of the method is that way, someone has maybe the same disease as me and will teach me something. So let's go back to history. There is a lot of things. I try to summarize it here, but the history in between 1930 and 1940 were interesting for me. First of all, it's not a research, but it's a book of Aldous Huxley. It's called L'Art de Voir in French, The Art of Seeing, I think, in English. And Aldous Huxley was almost blind at what time. He couldn't read. And he went to the assistant, I think, of Dr. Bates, and he recuperated a lot of his eyesight. And so I read the book, and it was very well written, of course. Aldous Huxley, I don't have to present him, but it was also giving the insight of someone who was cured by that method. I also read part of the ophthalmology book of 1931. And there was a very interesting part of it about amblyopia, because Victor Morax was treating people a little bit after the war, so the First World War. And he saw that people were in this war, which was amazingly bad. They have seen people with their head out because of bombing and so on. So, and those people were having amblyopia, always were blind, and they tried to find solution for that. So they put the amblyopia also in the traumatic sphere. And Also, I thought to myself, maybe stereoscopy could cure. It was just a guess, saying, okay, if if you don't see with your two eyes, maybe if you try to see with a stereoscopy, you could heal your problem. So let's go back to Dr. Bates. Uh, I couldn't follow the methods basically. First of all, because I can't stand methods or can't stand manuals. I love video, but when it's too much to read or too much to explain, I can't stand it. It's the way I function. So, but I read the book, and I read a lot of people about this method, and really I didn't understand how it was working. Maybe it's right. I don't know. But I decided, as I told before, that anything that I would do, I would try to add on my knowledge to try to cure. So the image which is there, it's very interesting because Bates was using a retinoscope uh, during the day, not in a fixed moment. So that means that he was observing people in different emotions, but also activities. And he saw the way that the eye was accommodating. And this was new to me, really. So the rest, uh, let's say, what was important also is familiar objects are easier to see. And I experience that all the time. Relaxation can be clearer. So, okay, I see timing is, is passing. So I start to collect the stereoscopic cards to heal. So I look at them and I see the difference and the similarities on them. This is the card which healed me in a way. So the card is two word, let's say, which is one word, and it's really amazing because I tested this card on some other amblyopic people, and it was the same for them. Because you cannot imagine that one is not one. So on the research, the actual research, let's say there was two things which were interesting in the research I read is neuroplasticity, of course, perceptual learning, and also games. And so the professor on the right is a Japanese professor, and he developed the first eyesight game on the Nintendo. I still use it. It's very interesting. It's a very interesting application because it's working on all the aspects of vision, not only acuity. It's spatial. It's using your hand. So there is a lot of things, like in sport, in fact. So this is the games, for example, I use at the first time, and which were invented by some of the professors. I also read books about neuroscientists. First of all, Sue Berry, you know her, Stereo Sue. I'm sure that people in America, they know a lot of her. Also Oliver Sacks and Bruce Bridgman, who recovered at the same age as me, 3D with a film, with a movie, 3D movie. So I started to try to see in 3D first by anaglyph image. And I made some anaglyph pictures with two pictures that I combine. And the idea was to move the image in my brain so that I can really understand the two parts which were going into the two retinas. One very interesting researcher is Alfred Yarbus, which is a Russian researcher. and he made the first eye tracking. And there are two things into those images, which is interesting. First, you see that in 2 seconds, you see only 6 points with your fovea. Your fovea is the parts where the eye see exactly precisely. And also, you see that in the painting, he asked different people to look when a question was asked before. And you see that there is a different pathway. As an exercise, and to explain for this conference how many information you see precisely, it's the rectangle in the middle. So it's 10% in 20 seconds when you see a picture at 2 meters, this picture at 2 meters. So it's incredibly few information, and the rest is reconstructed by the brain. This is with what I was playing for, or with. There are lots of them, more than that, but I showed them those ones because they were the most important. One thing which I discovered, this is a synoptophore, which is on the announcement, is that usually you try to treat amblyopia or strabismus in a way that you first train suppression and then fusion, and then you go to stereopsis. I did the contrary because I didn't have really the knowledge at that time. And I was testing, I was trying all the time. And I arrived to stereoscopy first, and then I saw that my fusion and suppression were not very good. And the more I use stereoscopy, I make image, or I see stereoscopic image, the more fusion and suppression disappeared and fusion was better. So it's the same way as training and learning music or reading. You can read it, you can learn it both ways, or you learn the instrument and then you learn how to read and write music, or you do the contrary. Reading is the same. So with this image, I tried to find it for a long time, and because I understood that brain was a part of eyes were part of the brain. It's not like something like a camera, which is then with a wire into the brain. It's part of the brain. So if the visual system is not working, or part of the system is not working, for example, suppression for an amblyopic person, then the rest is not working. So it's really a whole system that has to work together. So this is a thing that I tried and succeed, in fact, with Yarbus research. So for example, you see a sculpture, for example, Michelangelo in this case, and you point precise points. You concentrate your attention on different points. And strangely enough, the image become clearer. For whatever reason, I don't know, I'm not a neuroscientist, but I experience that the whole day, every day. And this is how my vision is improving. So let's go to photography and stereophotography. So the way I use it at the first time was very simple. I observe, I look at an object, I make a photography of it, I use the stereoscope, and I remember the object, and then I go back to observation. And this was a very interesting way to do, because your imagination and your eyesight mix together through stereoscopy. So this is example of image I did with different cameras. I tried to to capture movement, people. This is my friend Fabien in the exhibition that he did, also space. So I try to, let's say, use my skills in photography to interpret that into stereoscopy photography. So I discover also something which I use all the time now, is desk maps. And why I use that is that because when I see the black and white depth maps, I understand the volume more than if I see, let's say, a flat image. I don't know for whatever reason, but I look at the depth map and at the image, and I combine the two of them, and then stereoscopy is very easy for me. So this is amazing conversion. I put that because it was fun for me to do that. Sometimes I trick the middle, but okay, just for that. So this is a first test to combine, let's say, fusion cards with stereoscopy. So I tried different things. I have a lot of, again, of that. This is Alan Judge, by the way. He sent me pictures, and then I did the conversion, and I tested how to make the fusion for the two faces. And it's working for some people, not working for other people. On the right image, it's the dots, for example. You need to make fusion so that the dots appear. So it's a combining between 3D vision and fusion that you use on the cards. The same. And you can see that with the dominant eye on the right or on the left, you need to do different, let's say, tricks on the photography. So this is, let's say, I try for this conference to take my notes and to summarize that. So how was my vision ameliorating or getting better? So it was first blurry brown black. So that was what I showed you before. Then it was strange because my eye could not open, or I thought that my eyes were not open. I asked someone to photograph me, and it was not that. It was the light, which I had the same impression as if my eyes were not open correctly. After that, I began to see noisy noise, like in a TV, which is badly put on the right channel. Then, when we were in a tent camping, I saw a portion of the fabric at 1 meter, and that means I think my fovea was beginning to work. Then I trained to look using my fovea. The stereoscopy became effective. The color balance was very difficult to arrive, so I had to put the same color on the two eyes and look one eye and the other eye to make my brain understand it was the same color. So the noise fade away, and I started to read a lot of license plates because it's all the time the same number and letters. And okay, I could read the license plate at 5 meters with my amblyopic eyes, which is amazingly incredible. And now I arrive to be in the space with the two eyes. And I begin to be able to use my right hand with my right eye, which was not what I was doing for 60 years. So I made some tests in people who have different amblyopia and for different reasons. You can see it on the back. For example, Eve, it happened 2 years ago. Luc, it was from childhood also, and Elizabeth. Sorry, I don't see my screen. Elizabeth had Fourier operation in the retina, and amazingly enough, they all could see in stereo, which is completely out of what I heard, read, whatever. And you have to know that Frédéric, I went, it was the day before yesterday, to check it before the conference to see if I was completely mad or not. And it was working in 3 seconds. So I thought that maybe my hypothesis was not so crazy to say that if you start by stereoscopy, and if you do that, and the people begin by stereoscopy and then cure the rest, so fusion and suppression, maybe it's a way to do it. So if I have to summarize, first, learn to know your eyes. That was the first lesson I had. We perceive, we deduce. You see 10% of reality. It depends of the time, of course, but let's put the painting 10%, and the rest you imagine. In fact, it's the most plausible possibility. Attention shapes reality. That's sure. I can testify that, and it's really important because if you don't see with an eye, then you don't put your attention on it. And it's like if you decide to see less and less. The eyes are part of the brain. I explained that already. Mind and vision loop together. It's very important to understand if you want to ameliorate your acuity, because maybe sometimes it will take time. For me, for example, it took at the beginning something like 1-2 seconds to put my acuity or to try to visualize something in detail. Alors, so I put right skills, right solution. It's to say that in the problem of eye, you have at least 2, maybe 3 professions. One profession is the medical profession, which can cure a lot of things, and the other one is the orthoptist, and they cure different things. And you have to understand when you start with this kind of disease, what do you need to cure? And maybe if it doesn't work in the medical profession, you have to go to the orthoptist, and vice versa. So there is no there is you cannot be sure. You have to try and to see the two things. And on my side, it was a ophthalmologist that tried to cure me at that time, which was the bad solution. And I say doubt leads to discovery, and of course science. But I'm not a scientist, so I discover. I don't make science. So to finalize, I would say this. Engaging the whole visual system, stereoscopy helps improve my amblyopia, may support others, serves as the central guiding element, and bring the joy of seeing in 3D. Thank you very much.